Hi, are you talking to me? I am very pleased that you are open to such a constructive dialogue, since it's very hard to get that in YouTube sometimes. Regarding the claims you were making, when Dawkins says in the interview that he wants to talk probabilities, what he means is in the sense that in science you can never be certain of anything, or 100% certain of anything, or that any hypothesis is possible and any theory can be proven wrong. That is the natural attitude of science towards truth, which is why a lot of people don't like science in the first place, since it takes immense amount of work and sustained effort to get to the absolute truth. As you know, some people take shortcuts and like pretending they have the answers even if they don't or have no evidence. Therefore, evidence is what sets science apart from just being a subjective opinion or idea, and therefore makes it more objective and true. By scientists renouncing their need to own the ultimate truth, they allow other scientists to constantly question existing hypotheses, theories, and assumptions, and therefore advancing collective knowledge about the world we live in and allowing future generations to get even closer to the truth. So when he introduces the word probability, that's basically what he's referring to. You cannot say you're 100 certain that God does not exist, not scientifically, because you cannot prove a negative, basically. And when specifically he says that a complex God is highly improbable, the what he means and what he's talked about is the God expressed by Alistair McGrath and by most religions, which is a personal God that has always existed, didn't evolve. And he uses the I as an example of something very complex that we know intuitively because of its complexity. It's highly unlikely that it just suddenly came into existence. And therefore we think it requires an explanation, or in some cases a designer. This is one of the reasons why a lot of people have the tendency to believe in an intelligent God, because of their need to explain the complexity of life. It's in this context that he refers to an intelligent God as an even more improbable than the I, the thing that people are trying to explain. Since God would have to be much more complex and therefore require an even bigger explanation than the I. If people can accept the fact that an I, or a human being, just showing up out of nowhere, a complex being like a human being, they cannot accept that. They look at a human being as a highly improbable thing. How much more highly improbable is a God, a complex, intelligent God, just existing out of nowhere? And that's the point he's trying to make, where people, are creating a bigger hole. They're trying to explain how a complex thing came into existence by creating an even more complex being. So this is what he's referring to. I just want to clarify. He's not referring to a God evolving, through evolution, through billions of years, being highly improbable. That's not really the question being addressed. He's addressing the God from the Bible, the Quran, the God that has complex God that can listen to your prayers and intervene in human affairs, and that has always existed. This is the God he's referring to as highly improbable. Now, you seem to be making a lot of assumptions when the God you're talking about. It's more of a God that evolved, intelligent God that evolved. And that you claim that when you apply the complex things arising from simpler things, and our universe, the uniformity of the universe, when you apply those two principles, an evolved, intelligent God becomes highly probable. First, I want to clarify that as humans, all we know is what is found in this universe, and we are still learning more about this universe. Therefore, in order for your conclusions to have some validity, these principles have to be applied within our universe. Of course, unless you have scientific evidence that shows, first, that other universes exist, that they behave exactly like ours, and that eventually complex intelligent life evolving in other universes can develop the ability to create other universes. One thing is to say, because you at the end of your video you say that we could be in a cycle of complex intelligent life creating other complex intelligent life. One thing is to say that humans could come to a point where we can create other life, be it superior or inferior, maybe through genetic manipulation, cloning, whatever. In this universe, in this space and time that we are familiar with, and that we experience, it is a big leap to go from that and say that we could come to a point where we can create other universes in a different space and time. And it is even a bigger leap to say that we can somehow control the laws that will govern the universe, that we can develop laws that will determine the forms of life that will eventually develop in that universe. And there's even bigger claim to say that we will be able to directly control the complex life that arises in that universe, outside our space and time. And that this complex life can then communicate with us and tell us their needs. And a much bigger leap to say that we will be able to intervene in the wars and affairs. And that for some reason, we ourselves, which we would be like gods, are not able to communicate directly with them. We were able to create all this complexity, but for some reason, outside our space and time, we can control them directly, we can influence their lives, but we are not able to communicate directly with them. The illustration I'm making here is what most of the claims that religious people make for their gods that they're able to do. And also that the human race will exist in this world for however long that degree of evolution requires without going extinct before, we have the chance to develop that complexity. We have no evidence as of yet that there is any form of intelligent life other than us in this universe. We are ready to accept complex intelligent life in universes we don't even know exist. That's a very big claim, seems like, and since probability has to do with likelihood of something happening, and this is usually a relative measurement, meaning we need to have some historical or present information, evidence, to be able to assess its probability. There is no evidence that supports these claims, and therefore its likelihood is very, very low. If your claim is that this intelligent God was created within our universe, and then created us, then that leaves the question of who created this universe unanswered. And why would we need a God in this case? Why not just think that the universe created us, and that universe always existed? It seems more simple. Why the need for a God?